This is another episode of the Dad the Soul Extra Time Show. I am Dan Flanagan. I am one of your hosts. I'm joined as always by the essentially tour guide in Normandy Beach for Rishi Sunak. I'm not putting it purely at Jim's feet, but he was in charge of planning.
I think just every time we do one of these shows, it's like it's bamboozlement that the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom has been advised so badly about something. So last time it was, oh yeah, go outside and do an announcement of a general election in the absolute pouring rain without an umbrella, even though we've got a big...
Or your big coat.
Yeah, we've got a big multi-million-pound media suite that we built, but, you know, go outside and do it. And this time he's going... All the world leaders, the big world leaders, the leader of the opposition as well, are going, yes, it's a very somber day and we should stay for the whole of this. And the Prime Minister goes, do have to chat to ITV, and there's literally no other time they could do it. And leaves early when he's just, everyone's going, oh, yes, we should remember the veterans. And he's going, I will remember them, but I'm on a schedule. So I'm going to do...
I need that PR.
I'm going to do an hour of memory, and then I'm going to do an hour of going back to the United Kingdom.
And that is poorly advised, shall we say.
I mean, and obviously, you've got yourself into a position of being the leader of a major country. You should be able to at least go, are you sure this is a good idea?
Yeah.
But no, apparently not.
Fit? Anyway, we are not Rishi's tour guide, but, Jim, you are cooler than an Idris Elba DJ set in Wim Hof's bathwater.
Whoa, that's cool. Chilly.
Chilly.
I find him fascinating, Wim Hof. I find Idris.
And Idris.
No offense to Idris. I find Idris fascinating as well. I think he's brilliant. But Wim Hof, wow. That is a man who's basically made his money out going, just jump in the ice.
It's going to be a bit parky out there. He's made his money by not turning on the heating.
Yeah, I mean, well, there you go. And the Yorkshire in me suggests that is brilliant. Yes. I see what you're doing. Good plan.
Isn't it? So, apart from diving in ice baths while you're putting on cracking raving sets, what have you been up to, James?
I mean, what haven't I been up to? This has been a packed couple of weeks since we last did this show.
Why, James? Why?
Well, for one, we were talking about this on the last show. Yep. We went on holiday to Plymouth. It's not something a lot of people say because Plymouth turns out, and all due respect to people from Plymouth, I think they would agree as well, it's not exactly a holiday destination. It's a city with its troubles. It's got some lovely parts. There's some lovely things going on. We went to a museum, the Plymouth Museum. Yep. It's called One or something like I can't even remember, but it was good. I really enjoyed it. We had a great time there. Although my son, because there's a lot of it is about climate change and trying to reverse that. A lot of it is also referencing the fact that Plymouth was pretty much the setting off point for every colonialist that has been in the last 500 years. So you go down to the harbour, it's like, this is where the Mayflower set off. This is where they went to colonise Australia. This is where they set off to colonise Canada. And so there's a lot about that, and there's a lot about owning that and talking about the slave trade and what came with it and the way we imposed whatever on other countries. And it's done in a really good way and a really interesting way. But my son just looked at it, at the end of it, he just went, yeah, it's good. Bit depressing though, isn't it?
That's exactly what you want from a family holiday. It was good, but it's a bit depressing. All my mates have gone to Disney World. Yeah. I've got Childline on friends and family speed dial.
I did wonder. I asked him the day he went back to school. I was like, did they ask you what you did on your holidays? He was like, oh, no, we didn't have to do that. I was like, that's probably just as well. That's fine.
My father took me to one of the homes of racism in the country, miss.
Yeah, I mean, there are some great bits. There were some nice bits, but the best bits about staying in Plymouth were when we went to Cornwall for the day. So no offence to Plymouth. And it's a long way away.
When you said no offence to Plymouth, you actually meant loads of offence to Plymouth.
A little bit.
Because you've been nothing but derogatory for the last 5 minutes about Plymouth.
The people were nice.
Okay.
Some of them. Not all.
The ones that weren't trying to burn you and run you out of time or chain you up.
There were a few bits where there were some like really surly people, however. But the first night we were there, we met a friend. So the reason we went down is we've got a friend who lives down there. She's been up to us a lot in Yorkshire, 7 hours away. It was time we repaid it, and we went down to see her. And she'd found this pub, and she's got this dog. We've got the kids, and she's like, I found a pub. It's dog and child friendly.
Yeah.
We'll meet up there. So we met up there. And the only problem was she hadn't checked what times they serve food. And we'd just arrived from a long, long journey, and we were very hungry, and they'd stopped serving food. But the landlady, oh my gosh, she was the most accommodating person. She was like, don't worry, you stay there. I'll go and turn the kitchen on. I'll get everything sorted. It's fine. I mean, I think she didn't have much to do on, whatever, like a Thursday evening or whatever. But she could not have been, she was like, that was my first introduction to Plymouth people. And that was a good one. Now, a few people came under the average, but, the standard generally, the people were nice. But it was, not a holiday destination.
Like with your friend, though, it's a bit disconcerting. She's done the journey up to you with her dog. You've done 7 hours with 2 kids.
Yeah.
I reckon the dog's probably better company than your children, no disrespect. But
quite possibly.
Yeah.
Well, the worst bit, though, was that we decided, having had this chat about going 7 hours in the car, that we would break it up on the way down by staying in, well, my idea was to stay in an Airbnb halfway between Yorkshire and Plymouth. My wife's idea was to book some glamping, I was about to say some glamping wigwams. And what I meant was a glamping wigwam in which all 4 of us had to sleep for that night. In the same room. Yeah. In fact, pretty much on the same benches that were covered over with slats. And it was challenging.
Was it glamping? Or was it more like Siberian prison?
I've not been in a Siberian prison.
For a while.
Yeah. No, not since the incident. We don't talk about it anymore. No. I have been camping and I hate it.
Yeah.
I hate it so much. So this was better than camping. But I could imagine if you were to compare it with a Siberian prison, it would be a tougher battle. Lovely, well, nearly nicely done out. Beautiful countryside. I've never been to Shropshire. Well, I've been to Shropshire, but not to see the countryside before. Yeah. And it was beautiful, really nice. But yeah, sleeping in the same room as your kids for any amount of time is challenging at best. And we didn't get much sleep that night. So we then got back in the car the next day, grumpy.
I can imagine. When a couple of months ago, I went over to the States with my lad and we shared a bed because nobody could be asked to put up the actual camp bed. It's like, do you want this? He's like, no. Do you have it? And no. It was a super king bed. But yeah, he was a wriggle and he kicked a lot. And he nicked a duvet a lot. But then I probably snored. So...
Right.
It's a fair trade. But are you telling me out of this lovely trip to Plymouth that you would recommend going to Plymouth, especially if you are a family of 4 from Yorkshire?
What I would say is it's a long way. As long as you're prepared, you're probably okay.
Prepared for disappointment?
No, prepared to keep the kids entertained while you travel that distance. Now, when you get to Plymouth, you will probably get some accommodation that is cheaper than if you were to stay in Cornwall. This is the real benefit of Plymouth, right?
Yeah.
It's literally one side of the river away from Cornwall, and you can travel for like only half an hour, and you find your archetypal Cornish little fishing village with a lovely little beach, and you could be on there within half an hour. In fact, what you could do, you get the ferry over the river from Plymouth, get on a bus, you could be there even quicker. So it's a good base, is what they say about places that aren't very nice in themselves.
It's quite a reasonable cupboard to store your stuff in.
Yeah, that's it, yeah. It's like left luggage at the airport, basically. That's what it is.
Plymouth, like left luggage at Luton Airport. Yeah.
I feel really bad because our friend's really lovely and we did have a great time. But yeah, just in the same way that I would say I live near Bradford and there's a load of great stuff in Bradford, but I still don't think people would go, I'm going on my summer holidays to Bradford. Now, what you might do is come and stay in Bradford and go to all the lovely places around Saltaire, Ilkley, near where I live, Bronte Country, the Haworth and all that's really close. It's all within the Bradford district. But yeah, so it's not necessarily a criticism. Some places are places for people to live and some places are places for people to visit.
And some places are places for people to leave.
Exactly.
Live, leave, easily done. That sounds like a very restful time, though, I must say.
Yeah,
you still sound a bit snotty as well, because Bruce Springsteen snogged you, didn't he? And he gave you some sort of lurgy.
I mean, he might as well have done. Yeah, I had a cold from going to see Bruce in the rain 2 or 3 weeks ago now. It lasted a long time. It lasted a long time for him. He's still, I don't think he's played another gig since. He cancelled all these gigs afterwards because he got ill. I think a lot of the people who were there got ill as well. But it is starting to get. It's now. I don't know whether I've still got a cold or whether it's hay fever. I don't know. It's having a battle in my head.
Literally. Are you get really blocked up as well?
A little bit, yeah. Do you get hay fever?
Yeah. I'm quite painful. I also get quite bad migraines this weekend past. Actually, I had loads of lovely stuff planned because I had a few hours to myself, but I got a really bad headache on Saturday and it just wiped me out. There's nothing I could do. With the blocked nose, though, I did find this tool, should we say, on TikTok. I thought, this is great. This really appeals to me. But I don't want to pay 60 quid for it.
No.
I then saw a further video where somebody had made their own version. Essentially, what it is
this is going to end well, is it?
No, those little like squirty bottles of water you get like for 40 pence.
Right.
Yeah, it was that. So this 60 quid version had a small tube that you stick up one nose and you can actually flush your thing out. So your nasal passage. So given TikTok, obviously they're big and I love like squeezing spot videos and stuff like that. Dr. Pimple. So it's like, this is great, getting rid of all that mucus. Not paying 60 quid. But I'll try 40 pence bottle. And I tried that and he blew my brains out.
Oh.
But it does work.
Right.
It's not something to do in company, obviously. And it's another public safety, health warning from Dad to the Soul, sticking 40p bottles of water right up your nose and giving it some. But yeah, it helps you. It's like tunes. It helps you breathe more easily.
It's like a nasal enema. Is that what we're talking about?
That again is the name of my difficult second album. It was Naked Ladies and Free Beer. It's now Nasal Enema. That sounds like a real like Christian thrash metal band, doesn't it?
It does a bit, yeah. Like we're playing the Dog and Bucket on Tuesday. Pre-prepared to be rocked by Nasal Enema.
Sounds a bit dodgy to me.
I was thinking about this the other day.
Yeah.
About there was a band in the Britpop era. I don't know if they count as Britpop because they're Dutch. They were called Salad, and they were like proper fey, jangly jingly.
Yeah.
They were nice, and I'd probably listen to them again. I'm sure they're on Spotify. But they were very much of the time. And I remember seeing them at Colchester Arts Centre, which is, if people know the venue, it's a really nice venue, actually. There are loads of great stuff on, and it's like an old church. And halfway through watching Salad, I think the bassist suddenly came up to the microphone and went, "It's great to be playing the devil's music in the house of God." And I'm like, I'm not sure jangly indie pop is the devil's music, is it? I think you might have started out wanting to be in some kind of Scandi thrash metal band, but no, you're playing jangly indie pop.
I thought you were going to say halfway through you started to get really hungry for something decent. So it's like, I nibbled on salad. No, salad, I want hot dogs. Or that's a terrible name for a band.
It's a really bad name for a band, and I'm not even sure why I remembered that this week because it must have been, literally 30 years ago now that it happened. It was just one of those memories. Sometimes you just get a memory that goes boop, and pops into your brain. Like, where has that come from?
Yeah, but that scares you, though, doesn't it? Because you realise that you've probably got literally hundreds of thousands of those men in the old grey matter. But actually, I can't remember what I went downstairs for. I remember that band from 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Right, I'll tell you what the outfit the lead singer was wearing. But yeah, my keys or my phone, no, or where I'm meant to be, or important stuff that my partner has told me more than once. No.
Doesn't stick.
It's not, is it? It's unfair to be judged as well.
I mean, it is unfair in a way, but also it's not. I mean, it's probably legitimate.
No. I have a rule. If somebody tells me something, if it's important, I'll write it down.
Right,
and then I'll remember. I can't be expected to remember everything people tell me, especially names. I'm awful at names and directions. They are my two Achilles heels.
That's the thing, isn't it? When you ask for directions from someone, you don't get that as often now, I guess, because people have sat nav. You used to have it quite a lot where people would like pull up next to you, wind the window down, go, "Oh, mate, where's the monkey school?" Whatever. And
he goes, third right, second left. I've switched off by then. I've got all this something shiny over there. So I don't know why I bothered to ask, because I'm not going to retain any of that information.
No, that's why it'd be bad. I think we've been watching as a family Race Across the World.
Okay.
And it's such a brilliant program, because the very basis of it is they have like 5 or 6 couples. They could be like friends, or they could be like brother and sister, mum and daughter, husband and wife, whatever. They start off at a point somewhere in the world, and they have to get to another point somewhere in the world, going through different checkpoints. So each week they get to a different checkpoint. And it's all about who gets to the final checkpoint first. But when they get to the first checkpoint, they all sort of congregate, and then the next time they don't know what the next destination is until they leave, but they leave in the same order and the same times as they arrived. So if you're 12 hours behind, the first person goes off, and then you've got to wait 12 hours to go.
Ow.
And it was brilliant. The most recent series was all in Asia, so it started in Japan, and they had to go to Indonesia in the end. And a lot of that, because they're not allowed to take mobile phones with them. Yeah. They've got like an old school digital camera. That's weird, isn't it? Because that was new school for quite a while.
Yeah.
And they've got the same amount of money it would cost to fly the distance they get to have, but they can't use it for planes. They have to use it for all sorts of different
rickshaw.
However they can move around. They need to do it as cheaply as possible, because that's their budget. They can earn more money by working along the way, but they don't earn a lot. And a lot of them just work for accommodation, so they're not spending money on accommodation. But you learn so much about the families and the dynamics and the friendships and the connections. It's such a beautiful TV series for that, and it looks stunning as well, because you get to see.
So it's a bit like Hunted crossed with Wish You Were Here.
Yeah, it's like Hunted, but everyone's trying to get past it. And Judith Chalmers, I think, would be pretty good at it. She must have some experience. But
what about Annika Rice?
Yeah,
it'd be like a challenge Annika as well. I'm pitching this as an idea that has already happened and already been commissioned, but
I mean, they have done a celebrity version, but I think celebrity travel presenter version would be good.
Yeah.
So you get
them. Know where they're going.
Yeah, that'd be add an extra dimension to it. But yeah, most of the time they spend asking people not only directions places, because they need to get to the bus station or they get to the railway station, but asking people in languages they don't understand directions, which adds a new element to it completely. Because as you say, I would shut off within seconds of someone giving me instructions in the language in which I speak. So let alone having someone trying to have like a pidgin
or something,
a pidgin Mandarin conversation with someone else, and trying to get anything from that. Basically, you just need to know the vague direction, and then you have to find it yourself.
That's so. But you do have a camera crew behind you, I suppose. So you're not completely, gonna die.
No, that's right. There's someone to look after.
There's a frizz on of danger, but
Yeah. You might just spend a long time in a city whilst everyone else is getting to the luxury hotel at the end of the heat.
I might give that a go. I've got my lad tonight, and we've done hunted. We did football dreams. We are now on Dance Mums.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Which I don't know if you've ever seen, but it's painful. It's really loud American mums who are actively pushing their kids 7 days a week to be dancers.
Oh, no.
I'm quite an aggressive dance teacher, and they go around the country competing. And yeah, there's a lot of bitchiness. It's basically planet bitchiness. So we watched that, but I think after a series of that, I think we're due something new. So this is useful. Thank you. Race around the world.
Yeah, race across the world. I've seen the last 2 series of Normal People. The one previously was in Canada, and then there was a celebrity one on recently with Mel Blatt from All Saints and the drummer out of McFly. And,
so when you say celebrity,
yeah, I mean, it's not Ryan Gosling, right?
Yeah, okay.
He's not taking part, but they're all. You learn so much. I mean, it's a game show or a competition on the surface, but it's really much deeper than that. Our kids have absolutely loved it. So
okay,
yes, something to watch with your boy.
If you watch it and it's terrible, you can just blame Jim's kids.
Yeah, exactly. They're
bad
judges
or something like that. I think. Is there can you give us an address to write to? PO box.
Right to Dad LaSalle.
I was going to say, what was it? It was going to be L Street or Pebble Mill Studios.
Pebble Mill Studios. Oh my goodness, yeah.
PO box 55. I don't know what it was, but it was there. I'm going to give you the address for basically Tiswas. Useful. Should we have a musical interlude?
Yeah, let's have it. What do you want?
Let's have Lady Ray.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you about Lady Ray afterwards, and the good and the bad.
That is a tease, isn't it?
Oh.
You've been the best at times. You walk me through my darkest days. Why must I turn around? I ask myself. This just ain't fair, so hard to bear. I'm not really sure these days, I stash some memories to ease the pain. You've been dear to me, that's why it's hard to walk away. Remembering when it was simple things. I'm not really sure these days. I'll let you take a piece of me. I hope you get the peace you need. Oh. And if that's not enough, I'll let you go peacefully. Oh yeah. You've been around so long, you did me wrong, but it made me strong. I believed in you, you were leading me to lean on you. But when I reached for you, you were not there. I'm not really sure these days, Blood is thicker than mud, you know. It may sound simple, but that's all I know. Even though it's hurting me, but I pray they see. Even though they hurting me, we still family. I'll let you take a piece of me. I hope you get the peace you need. Oh yeah. And if that's not enough, I'll let you go
Discover new music at listener-powered-kexp.org.
Well, KERXG. Did not know that, did you?
No, didn't. Wow, what a voice that is.
She's amazing. Discovered her last year quite by chance, courtesy of my niece. Didn't realise she's been around for about 30 odd years. Genuinely, I thought, oh, this is a new girl on the block. I can get down on that. So I went to see her a couple of weeks ago in Camden. And we booked this lovely weekend away, or actually it was beginning of the week for our anniversary. And I said to my young lady, let's not book anything. Let's just book the time off. And on the morning, we'll just book a hotel, book the gig tickets, and live, life on the edge. So worked out, got a great deal on a really lovely hotel outside Camden. Tickets for Lady Ray, I saw on Facebook. Oh, I've got 2 tickets for sale. So, okay. This is just while we were going to get on the train up to London. And I looked at the girl's profile. Oh, she looks nice and reasonable. A couple of exchanges. Yeah. Sent the money on PayPal. Immediately deletes profile.
Oh.
Yeah, we got stung properly.
Oh,
and it was
no.
a massive lesson to me that I ticked all the boxes. I'd looked at this person's profile and gone, oh, they look nice. They look normal. Oh, she works at the London School of Economics. Obviously, she's got to be trustworthy. And it was like, all the things you would put there to get somebody to believe you, somebody had put there.
See, that's scary, isn't it? That even though you went through the process of doing, well, what you thought was your due diligence.
Yeah.
And still got scammed. Whoa.
Yeah. And because we sent it via friends and family on PayPal, there is no comeback.
Right. Okay. Of course.
But but the red flags were there in retrospect. But retrospect is a very expensive hobby. But
yes,
yeah. But we still managed to get tickets last minute. Go and see Lady Ray, and it was a brilliant thing. So, lesson, kids: don't buy tickets off Facebook.
Also, the thing is, you don't expect someone to use Lady Ray as a tempting thing for ticket touts, do you? For a ticket scam. You know, like Taylor Swift, you could see that because they're opening the net up to the widest possible audience. You know, it's like going, who wants 2 tickets for the reformation of Salad, the mid-90s jangly indie pop band? Like, you're gonna.
That's the psychology of it. You wouldn't expect it,
right?
So therefore, do it.
It's clever, isn't it?
I've seen some. I love a little bit where fraudsters get caught out, and I've seen some text message or Facebook exchanges, people going selling Euro tickets, and it's gone right. I want tickets for Czechoslovakia versus Wolford East. And going, yeah, I've got those. How much do you want? And he said, "You sure you got tickets for that? It's a really hard game." And, yeah, of course we've got it. Yes. Have you got that against the Budapest versus a Granger 11? Yes, I've got a couple of tickets for that actually, mate. I can sort you out.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mentioned this before. I used to work at this place where it was writing about lotteries a lot, and people thought that we were the official lottery occasionally. And so every day there'd be a task to sort of go through the support queue and, answer people's questions and stuff. And a lot of people, it was really sad actually, a lot of people would like forward emails that they'd got or, scam letters that they'd received. And they'd say, "Oh, is this legitimate?" And it'd always be like, "You've been playing the postcode lottery. Your postcode has been selected," or "You're playing the Facebook. You were entered into the Facebook lottery and you've won this. Just click through here." And the scams were, some of them were just, horrific. They were quite well done. A lot of them were really badly done. And people go, "Is this a legitimate letter?" And you think, I mean, my 7-year-old could Photoshop better than that. Like, that if the scammers ever got good at scanning things, because the logos would all be like stretched, and it's like, how do you even do that nowadays? Like, just copy and paste it off Google, and you can make yourself a better scam letter than that. But not that I want to encourage it.
A public service announcement: how to scan the lottery from somebody who used to scam the lottery. Be
a better scammer, yeah. And so, it was just really sad. These people, obviously, they prey on getting to people who have that dream, that are desperate, and they go, "Oh, I've won a lottery," and you just have to keep saying, "You can't win a lottery. You've not entered. It's just impossible to do it." But still, people fall for that, and I mean, people must lose millions and millions of pounds collectively.
I lost a couple of grand once, and it was I was saving up for a honeymoon. I got a call which I thought was Barclays. So well done. Even the hold music was exactly the same.
Right. Wow.
And yeah, I got talked through it. And then I was really, and then I thought, no, they wouldn't, because they wouldn't have the music down, would they? They just wouldn't. And they did. Yeah.
Right. That's
really... very good, very good. You know, whoever they were utterly convincing. So, but yeah, it's, I don't know, cheat the system, fine. Cheating the average punter, I don't really agree. You know.
Yeah, it's pretty nasty, isn't it? I nearly got caught by a Netflix scam the other day.
Go on.
Just because
Netflix and chill.
I was trying to Netflix and chill. Yeah. But a few weeks ago, it genuinely, my Netflix stopped because for some reason it didn't allow me to, the PayPal thing had run out. I don't even know what it was, but it genuinely did stop because I couldn't watch Netflix and it said, you've not paid your bill. So I had to go and reconnect my PayPal, or maybe it was going through Apple App Store or something like that. But anyway, it had happened and it was annoying and it was high in my memory. And then I got an email the other day going, your payment method has run out for your Netflix account. Please click here and add it. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to wait a second. And I very nearly did it. I very, very nearly did it. And then just at the last minute, I was like, hang on, take a step back. Let's see who this email's from. And, you know, you can click on who it's from. And it's, you know, it says in words, Netflix support or something. But then you find the actual address and it's like 7321@hotmail.co.uk. So I managed to avoid that one because I was very close to.
But it's perfect timing, isn't it? Do you think I just scatter these out and just, it's the law of averages, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess, you know, there'll be 300 or 400 people who it's happened to recently who've gone, okay, yeah, this has happened again. Right, fine. Let me go and press the button and see what happens.
Yeah. And you have a nice little business out the back of it.
Yeah. It's really annoying.
Not a nice little business because essentially it's just.
Not a nasty, horrible little criminal business. But there you go.
Talking about criminal business, we're going to get political.
Okay, let's do it.
Let's do it, right? Question for you, right? I think political parties should have anthems. You know, a bit like when wrestlers or boxers go in to battle, they have their theme tune. You know, the outstanding one was always Chris Eubank, who had Simply the Best by Tina the Turner.
Tina the Turner.
She had a very good. That was probably her, you know.
She was the opposite of Margaret Thatcher, who was the lady who was not for turning. So
she was not. Oh, there's another reference for the kids, isn't there?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was thinking, what should the main political parties' song choices be?
Okay.
Because
D Ream have sort of said they don't want Labour using "Things Can Only Get Better." They just don't. They said they don't want to get political.
They tried that. It didn't work out well for them. Once, you know, a few years down the line of them being in power and give or take a war.
Well,
it got a bit awkward, didn't it?
Yeah, in many ways, that was not something that was better, was it? No.
But I think if they don't take an anthem, they could create their own anthem. Mm-hmm. And I was thinking, actually, a bit like the England football team do. For the Euros or the World Cup and everything, we have got a rich history of battle-related songs about marching into war. And I thought, should we start a campaign to look at the past and pick out the songs and maybe, flick it over to Rishi's people? To be honest, the sort of level of advice they're giving him these days, this would probably go, this is a really good idea.
Yeah, I mean, it's, not one of the worst ideas, which, is something that they're probably hoping for at the moment.
Isn't it? So I would like to put my suggestion into the hat. Would you play the next song, please?
Yes. Oh, that is good.
Isn't it? I apologise about the sound quality because that video is quite old, obviously. And there was loads of middle-aged men there like this. Obviously not that. They look like a really bad school choir, didn't it?
Honestly, I feel bad for the people listening to this on the audio podcast because you did not get to see the England team basically cringe themselves through 2 minutes of singing there. Only really Kevin Keegan was giving it anything. The rest of them, like, what director nowadays of a music video would spend 20 seconds concentrating on one of the most bored-looking members of the team? Just like you can tell, like you used to do in music lessons when you didn't want to sing, just going. I
mean, it was so bad. It was good, but also this time, more than ever, we're going to get it right. I think would make a great political anthem.
Well, that's, you know what? If you've been in charge for 14 years and the country is in a palpably worse state than it was, that's the only message you've got, surely. Now, they're trying to do that whole Labour would be more of the same, we're the change party, which is weird because it's like, well, you've been in charge for 14 years. Why haven't you changed things? But if they were just to go, look, it's been rubbish, right? This time, we're going to get it right. Give us 5 more. Go on. Do it. You'd think.
I would see that. I want Michael Gove. I want Rishi in the background. All like this. And it is just, it's a bit like the Just Say No video for Grange Hill, isn't it? They all thought they were at Live Aid.
Those massive headphones, hands on them. There's no need to have your hands on them like that. The best ones.
There is.
The best ones when they've got like one ear on, one ear off, and their finger in their other ear. It's like, oh, this is.
Oh, that's an OnlyFans account, isn't it?
Basically, Sting, aren't you? If you had an OnlyFans account and you paid by the minute, that'd be quite a lot, wouldn't it? Because
it would be quite a lot. But that's it. This is where I think politics is going. Politics and music and sport neatly cobbled together with an anthem that we can all get behind.
I mean, this is the thing that politicians should have this, political parties should have this, and I agree with you. But also, we should bring it back for football because they don't seem to be doing it. Is there a Euro 2024 England song?
No idea. It would probably involve Ed Sheeran.
Oh yeah, maybe it's best not then. It's fine. I missed those days though. That was brilliant.
Yeah, but it would just be lots of middle-aged men that had no musical ability whatsoever, being really awkward.
And the weird thing is, though, you say they're middle-aged, but they'll all have been around 30, or in their 20s, but they just looked it. In the 1982, they all look like they're about 50, don't they?
They've all got these huge, jars of ale.
Yeah.
40 Rothmans on the guns. I didn't say let's go down to the ashtrays.
I tell you what they did have in that video is some pretty natty red, white and blue V-neck sweaters made by Admiral, like Spain 82 ones, which I would absolutely wear if anyone were to have one on eBay or anything.
They're probably worth a few quid, aren't they?
I would imagine they probably are. That's the shame because I would just wear it for the pure joy. But yeah, we used to have it. It was the FA Cup final the other day. Did the teams do a song each? No, they didn't. That was part of it. The FA Cup final used to be like a full day of grandstand, and you'd watch it, and they'd go and they'd do the story of how they got to the final, and then they'd go and have reporters at the hotels where they were staying, and you'd watch the tracking of the bus, and then you'd hear the songs, and then you'd have like a little comedy bit where a comedian or a TV star who supported one team or the other would come on and do something. I think there should be more of that. I'd be well up for that.
There was very little. There was, well, the thing is, I think the other thing is because that was such a huge event, because we only had the 3 or 4 channels. Now we have the billion, skillion, dillion events. It ain't. Nothing is there to essentially write home about.
Which is a shame. And it's a shame we're not going to have like another New Order World in Motion, because that is probably, I know Three Lions, obviously a massive anthem, but World in Motion has to be the best, technically the best, as well as the best sounding and the most interesting football song of all time. Yes.
But I also think if you ask somebody of a different age, they would have a different opinion. I think it was because that was 1990 and we were of a certain age.
Right.
It resonates.
You're saying it hit the zeitgeist?
In the what?
Yeah, that's a posh word I've been trying to use. The arms rap as well. This is the thing, right? This is what I promise what we'll do in a couple of weeks' time. The Euros, won't it? We'll be in the midst of the Euros. What I will bring to the table in 2 weeks' time is other players trying to do the John Barnes rap, because it was not always destined to be John Barnes's.
Was it not?
No, they tried out other players. And
that footage exists.
The footage exists, and you soon realise why John Barnes got it. You have not heard terrible singing until you've heard Peter Beardsley trying to do the John Barnes rap. I think there's footage of Gaza as well doing it.
Oh, that's a world of pain. I had a little bit of sick in my mouth.
Yeah, awful. Absolutely awful. 2 weeks' time, I will play that, and we'll have that on the podcast then.
Shall we have a musical interlude?
Let's do it. Yeah, what we're going to have.
What have you got? What are you bringing to the table?
Bringing to the table. This is a musician who I think is ace. I've probably talked about him before. He's called Richard Hawley. He used to be in the Long Pigs. What's that? Sorry?
Long Pigs. What are they known for?
They're known for a song called She Said and Far and On and On. They were another mid-90s Britpop jangly band from Sheffield. Richard Hawley was the guitarist. He's also played guitar in Pulp, and he has done his own thing for the last sort of 25 years. And I just absolutely love him. We had one of his songs as the first dance at our wedding. Aww. Told him that once when I met him. He didn't give a damn, to be perfectly honest.
He's a contact him.
He's basically he's like a proper old school Yorkshire bloke, but with like this romantic side to him. So he loves this sort of 50s, 60s guitar sound, and he's a real grump. And I interviewed him once, and I ruined it really by saying, "Oh, you were in the Long Pigs and played with Pulp. You're pretty much Sheffield royalty. you could probably lend Def Leppard a hand if you needed to, or maybe an arm. And he did not think that that was funny. And looking back, I don't think that's funny either.
Why am I laughing publicly?
I think because it's so offensive. It was a real shame because I loved him so much. It set the interview off on a bit of a bad point. And I had to work hard. But he's interesting. He was talking about, he's sort of like, he sort of loves the nostalgia, loves the old sort of sounds. And this is a real old sounding song, but it's his new single.
Bring it back for the kids then, Jim Bob.
Richard Hawley, this is Prism in Jeans.
Here's the story of a prism in jeans. The words are blurred and the colors bleed to belong. Oh, to belong. She is the spectrum, she is the light. She is the shadow, the mysterious night. To belong. She don't belong. There is an epic loneliness that you just can't hide when you just can't fit or belong. Oh, to belong, to belong. She don't belong. And the wind blows back, catch the first train smoking and never look back. I'll be gone. I don't belong. I'm trying to get where I understand. I'm counting stars and I'm counting sand. To belong, I don't belong. There is an epic loneliness that you just can't hide and you just can't fix. To belong, I don't belong. She has an ocean's loneliness where there is no tide and there is no ship. To belong, she don't belong. To belong, she don't belong.
That was jangly, wasn't it? It also shows what you can achieve with £5 on a video budget.
The video, yeah, particularly. You'd think he'd be doing all right now. He's won Olivier Awards because he soundtracked. Was it Standing at the Sky's Edge? Was the name of the play that he did the soundtrack for. Some of it was his kind of previous songs that he'd released. He wrote some new ones, I think, for that, and he won Olivier Awards. So you'd think he'd have a few quid, be able to put a more expensive video on. But once again, for the people listening to the audio podcast, it was basically some people in the middle of a roundabout in Sheffield dancing around with some ribbon.
But they'd mugged a load of maypole dancers.
Yeah, which, can happen if you're in Sheffield around May time. Just watch out, kids.
What's the name of that? I can't think of the word.
The maypole dancing?
Yeah, what are they called?
Morris dancers.
That's it.
Yes.
Morris dance, yeah. Looked like some young kids had nicked some stuff off Morris dancers while a street cleaner sat and watched on.
Mm-hmm.
That was the big pitch for this video. Enthralling stuff. Next, Jim.
Mm-hmm. Shop,
We've got another segment for you, right? I'll chuck this in because you wrote it on the show notes. I've got no idea what it means. It's going, can you do your partner's job? This is a new feature. Tell the boys and girls at home all about it.
Well, I just wondered, I thought it'd be interesting to know if you could do the job that your partner does, because it comes from the fact that this weekend, my wife sells vintage fairs and online and things like that, and she had 2 fairs this weekend, one of them in Liverpool, one of them in Manchester, and it was like kind of a big weekend. There's a lot of like loading in and loading out. They've both got difficult loads, and so a few months ago she said, look, do you fancy doing this with me for a weekend, and we'll get the kids looked after? So my mum and dad came to look after the kids, and we went to Liverpool early on Saturday, did the fair, which was, a lot of loading in, setting up, selling all day, then taking everything back down, putting it back in the van, and heading off. And then we went to stay in a Premier Inn in Bolton on Saturday night. I don't know if you've ever done that, but pretty romantic.
No one likes to show off, just putting it out there.
Yeah, things are going well. And then because it was the cheapest thing in the Northwest. Because that's also, if she'd have done it on her own, she probably would have tried to have come back from Liverpool, which is about 2 and a bit hours back to ours, and then gone to Manchester, which is about 1 hour and 40 minutes the next day. And it would have taken up a lot of a weekend, and it would have been really super tiring for us. So I decided I'd help her out. Oh my God, it was hard work. Like, absolutely. I can't believe she does those fairs on her own. It's a long time since I've really done one. And it's not only the physical bit of setting everything up, getting up early, driving somewhere 2 hours before it opens to set up. Then you have to be like on all day and be polite to customers and things, and have a chat about, oh, your grandma had that, did she? Oh, okay, yeah, good to know. Nice. And it's lovely. You get to hear lots of nice stories, get to chat to lots of interesting people. The first one was on Penny Lane in Liverpool. That was quite interesting. Not the most fascinating of lanes. I don't know why it so inspired the Beatles, but apparently it did.
Yep.
And then, packing everything up again, and then having a bad night's sleep in a Premier Inn because people were running around, making noise. And then getting up and doing it all the next day.
You're not really selling this as a career option, are you?
Exactly, and that's it. I was like, I've had an insight really into what it's like to do that, and I don't think I could do it. I wouldn't want to do it as a regular thing. I love the kind of vintage. I like buying vintage clothes, vintage stuff in the house and things like that. I love that. And I've got the aesthetic I really enjoy, and I like visiting vintage fairs and going and having a look around. And I know a lot of the traders from being married to Jill, and so it was nice to catch up with people. But it's hard work. I feel like I've really put a shift in over the weekend. So I just
have you been noting it all down for when you want to pass for something? Or
yeah,
you do something wrong. But do you recall in June of 2024? I did that weekend with you
when I spent that whole weekend lugging stuff around.
Yeah.
And then trying to sell the big things that didn't sell, and knowing that you had to get them back in the van in the right place so you could fit everything else in. So
beat you down like 50p.
What's that?
Do people keep trying to beat you down and negotiate for 50p?
Oh God. Oh yes. Well, that was one of the things, is dealing with that. Liverpool particularly, they like to barter.
Yeah.
This girl came up, and I say girl, she was about 30, right?
Yeah.
And she went, it was a mirror, and it was 20 quid. And she went, will you do 15? I was like, that's too much. That's eating into our profit a lot. So I'd do 18. And her mum came over, and she was like, no, not paying for £18, 15, not 18. I was like, well, I can't go down to 15. It's 18 is the lowest I can go. And so they walked off. And then the mum came back, and she was like, I've told her, no, she's not buying it. I was like, well, why are you telling me this? This is a little bit offensive to me. Anyway,
it's 3 or 4 quid. Is it really?
Well, apparently it was a really big deal. And my mum would never even dare tell me what to buy or what not to buy with my own money. But anyway, as it happened, half an hour, they went round, came back, and she bought the mirror at £18 and something else as well. So I won in the end. I felt that was...
The mum said, no. But yeah, go on then.
Yeah.
You stood your ground like a young Alan Sugar.
Yes. And then I think he'd appreciate that as well. My negotiation skills there. It worked out in the end. So
yeah, it doesn't sound fun. I remember I used to do a market stall with a friend of mine, basically selling tat from the back end of a charity shop. And it would have exactly the same. Everything would be £2 or £3, and people come, no. And his dad used to run the stalls properly, and he just had no truck with. He would just tell them very clearly and not waste his time. Whereas I was a bit more gentle about it. But at the end, we do a bit where we would just leave quite a lot of the stuff.
Yeah.
Basically, people would just swarm
onto
it. They wouldn't give you 20 pence earlier on in the day for it.
No.
They would wait to the end and then they would collect it all. So at least it got recycled in a way.
Yeah, well, there you go. It does get reused. But yeah, there's something about that. People love a bargain, don't they? And that's the thing. And, Jill's quite open to negotiation, but it's got to be sensible, not like taking a quarter off the price. That's ridiculous. We did stand next to a woman yesterday who I know I've seen her at lots of other fairs that we've been at, and she doesn't take any money off. And she's really, really strident about it. No, not happening. Not discussion. No. You pay for the full price, and that's it. And, fair play to her. She must do all right. Because, if that tactic didn't work, you'd soon change, wouldn't you?
Well, she's still got loads of stuff that she hasn't sold. It's exactly the same stock. It's like £15,000. No, it's a crunchy. No, I'm not negotiating.
Yeah,
that's why she's always there.
Maybe that's it. Yeah, maybe she's not made a fortune yet.
No.
Who has?
I wouldn't do that. My lovely partner, she worked in accounts for 20 odd years. So I wouldn't be able to do that because it involves numbers and spreadsheets.
Mm-hmm.
But then about 3 years ago, she started volunteering for Dad La Soul because we are well hunky and it's very easy to get drawn in.
When you said that, I thought you were going somewhere else.
No.
I'm glad you said hunky. we are well...
No. We are well hunky.
Yeah. Okay.
She ended up leaving that job and now she works in an early years setting. So she basically runs a nursery, a very posh nursery. So I have to be very careful what I say. So could I do a job? Because it's basically all you do is muck about with plasticine all day. 30 odd other people's kids. No, get a bashing. But I think the challenge potentially within the industry has been the growth in gentle parenting.
Right.
So if you're not aware of the concept, this is where basically your offspring doesn't get told no, anything. And what it's actually doing is raising a generation of narcissistic, spoiled brats that are hell to deal with. And they'll kick off and they'll throw things, but actually they never get told off at home. So that's when they're in the nursery setting, then the nursery staff have to deal with those people, those children.
So, that's not selling that to me either.
No.
As a
job. Like the kids can do whatever they want to. It's very child-led, which I understand rather than just saying no. She's just saying no, not at all. Little Tarquin is not. He's a lovely child. No, he's not. He's been taking chunks out of 18 other kids, hammering there, and he's just spent the afternoon kicking me. Right? I'm not allowed to tell him no.
There is a difference in though, and it's between not wanting to say no for no reason, but surely sometimes you have to say no as long as you give a reason. I think that's for me anyway. That's my style of parenting. If I say no, there'll be a reason for it.
Yeah.
And my kids are mature enough to understand when I tell them what that reason is. They may not agree with it, but
but we understand. Little Tarquin James, does not want to be emotionally distraught, or do not want to create trauma by telling him no. Actually, what he needs is to be put over somebody's knee and have his bottom spanked. Not that I'm advocating that, but some of these little gits.
So what we're saying is no, we can't do our partners' jobs. Then that's we've worked that out, haven't we?
I could do it from morning and just be. Then, because I remember actually going into when my son was at nursery, I did some volunteering on days, and all the kids were like, "Oh, a man's here, and he's a man with a hat." Oh, I felt like a rock star. It was literally nice. All the kids wanted to play with me. It was just like, yes, I was like Jay-Z. I was like that. Yeah, but every day? No, because there were some very cute kids, some very lovely kids. There was also a high propensity of not so nice kids.
Challenging
situations. Yes, that was it. Challenging behaviours. Yeah, and just kids are it's weird, isn't it? Because all kids are equal, but there are some kids you just take an instant dislike to.
Yeah,
you're horrible. You're going to grow up horrible, and I just don't. You've got one of those faces. That's for years in education. I'm judging you on those faces.
Yeah, I'm afraid, Mr. Flanagan, you have failed the interview.
Yeah, welcome to Dazzler Soul. I've got to remember this is going out and people might hear this.
I know what you mean. Yeah, it's challenging and it's difficult. What is difficult really is to be able to. I would imagine when you are in a childcare environment, you are trying to. You obviously have a policy for how you deal with things, but you've got 60 kids who've got 60 different policies at home that know how to deal with things, and it's trying to accommodate that and accommodate yours and create some sense of order. And that sounds very, very tiring and not like something I would want to do.
They're all getting potty trained and stuff like that, getting ready for big school. So there's a lot of, big life stuff that's going on. They've got to negotiate the sandbox and how to get on with other children and learn how to share. Yeah, these are big things. There's nothing about it.
Yeah.
But, they do need to be told no occasionally. So, yeah, I'm not doing it. I could probably do a day at a vintage sale. I'd be no good at the lifting stuff. Wouldn't mind sitting there chatting up some of the old girls. Other than that, I'm essentially a trophy husband.
Right. Yeah, I can see that, to be honest.
That is, and it is a chore, but this is my role.
Hey. We've all got a role in life.
I'm Gandhi.
Yeah, exactly. And if that's what you are, that you can't help that, and then, well done is what I say.
I don't. The Lord may be too pretty. What are you going to do?
Exactly.
Daniel, you're so deluded. Come back, Daniel.
Yeah. That's what you're going to do. Yeah. Okay. Right. Fine.
So anyway, this has been an hour of Jim and I talking deluded football stuff.
Yeah, we had a lot of football stuff
and politics, and we've not done religion. Maybe we should steer away from religion.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll deal with the fallout from this one, and then we'll go into religion at some other point, right?
Yeah, when we get home and our partners have actually listened to this and they're going, really? Can you stop? Can you just stop? Stop talking, mate? Just stop.
No, just stop in general.
Yeah. Go and stand in the corner and think about what you've done.
Oh, God, no. Please don't make me do that.
This has been the Dad Assault Extra Time show. I don't know if you've got it ready.
Mm-hmm.
Have you got the new coffee clip that you've produced?
I have indeed. I thought this might come in handy.
Oh, because we are sponsored now by Dadler Blend, which is a beautiful rocket fuel of coffee, as I think Jim can verify.
Yeah, I had my first cup this morning, and it was delicious. In fact, actually, I should say, for the people watching on the live stream, all the way through this, there's been a little QR code up in the top corner there that says Dadler Soul Coffee. That's how you go and buy it. But this is what happens when you drink Dadler Blend.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
That's powerful stuff, isn't it?
It is.
Can we say that no animals were hurt in the making of that film? Just putting it out there.
Very few animals were hurt.
Oh, look, here's the police again coming to get you.
Fair play. Yeah, no, it was really good. I enjoyed it. It's woken me up. I've had a little perk, a little skipping me step this morning, having started the day with Dadler Blend. And I don't know if there's, I mean, you're probably not allowed to make those connections, are you? But I did run faster. I went on a run and I ran faster than I have.
I was going to say you're also looking a lot more handsome.
Thank you.
I think it's probably down. You're running faster and you're sexier. That only can be down to the coffee.
I mean, there's no other connecting issue there, so that must be it. I must be.
Do the math.
Yeah.
That's
so
it. Yeah. So buy your coffee.
Dadler Blend, and what I was going to do, I'll put. I say this now. Let's see if I remember.
Making promises you don't keep.
I will put in the description of this live stream. I will try and remember to put the address of where you can get your Dadler Blend from. It is the perfect Father's Day present.
And it actually tastes all right, doesn't it?
It's good.
Inside. It could be horrible.
Yeah, it could be. Not that we'd admit if it was, but actually it was good. I enjoyed it.
Oh, yeah, we would. I couldn't put our name to something that was tosh.
Right.
You know, I'd go, oh, yeah, lovely. But the money earned does go to do good things, but you shouldn't. Coffee is a sacred thing. Right, so let's not mess about with it. Let's respect it.
Respect the coffee, and it will respect you.
Respect the bean.
Yes.
I will not flick the bean.
No, don't do that on the live stream.
That's a very different audience, isn't it? Right.
And on that bombshell.
neatly to the side there. Yes, dadlersoul.com for all of the events, all of the content, all of the other radio shows, wherever you get your podcast or audio goodness, we are there. And yes, come buy our coffee. We've got some sexy merchandise as well. We've got our audio active play date on Saturday for Father's Day. So happy Father's Day, boys and girls, for Sunday. Remember, a dad's not just for Father's Day. It's like a dog's just not for Christmas.
Yeah, no, exactly. Father's Day, Boxing Day. That's the day after, isn't it?
Father's Day box.
And don't forget Father's Day Eve as well, where you put the Father's Day tree up.
And new pajamas.
Yeah, new pajamas. And Father's Day comes down the chimney at midnight.
Father's Day. You've taken me a weird place. Right, I need to leave.
Good. All right.